everybody. Good morning and welcome in. It is a Tuesday here with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And man, look in the calendar. Lee Sterling starts a month from today. Yes, August 22nd. So we got one more month before Lee Sterling hops on with us, Barry. How about that?
That means we're getting ready for the season, getting ready to go. And the way I've got it figured, tomorrow, the 23rd, is a month away from game week.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of us. I mean, a lot of us play on the 31st, so that week ahead, we are 1 week away.
Hard to believe.
I'm sorry, 1 month away.
Beautiful. 4 months away from my birthday. I thought that's where you were going.
Oh, well, that's, it's coming up. In the words of Longshore, it is coming up. If it's 4 months, if it's the 4-month thing, then it's getting to be about that time for people to have that friendly reminder, because the 4-month mark, hey, it's gift-giving season at that point,
Yeah, you just said the 23rd. It kind of just rang a bell. I went,
all right, let me ask you to do one thing real quick before pull your microphone towards you.
Oh, yeah, that would help. Sorry. Yeah.
There we go.
That's a good idea.
I'm texting them saying, hey, John, your microphone's halfway across. Oh, yeah. So there we go. Sounds much better. There we go.
Now you can hear me out there.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We've got a lot to say today. We want to make sure everybody hears us here on the program. A lot going on today. Senator Tommy Tuberville is going to join us at the bottom of this hour from Washington, D.C., where they're trying to get a name change up there. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty to talk about with Senator Tuberville.
But that means Brian Matthews is going to be a little later, so don't freak out. Brian's on at the bottom of hour 2 today. Yeah. And then, of course, Travis Ryer at the top of hour number 2. So, no sweat. Just had to make some adjustments for Senator Tuberville. But Brian was very happy to do that. So we're loaded up today with guests.
Yeah. For those of you Auburn fans who may say, why has Brian always got to move whenever we have Tuberville on? Why doesn't the Alabama guy ever have to move? Here's the deal. And I've talked with him about this. Brian doesn't mind at all an extra hour of sleep. Brian is perfectly okay with coming on at 8:30 rather than 7:30.
Yeah, so he'll get a little extra hour. Of course, Travis is in the Eastern time zone, so it's actually 9 o'clock when we talk to him. So
that's true.
It all works out well. So we got a lot going on with that today. And Barry, I've got a lot of things that people need to know and things that I did not know. Several of them that have caught my attention over the last 24 hours.
I got a couple too. I got a couple as well. First of all,
I did know, or I had a good feeling about what was going to happen in Major League Baseball last night, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, well, I want to talk real quick. Sometimes I hate to bring up topics, or I'm uneasy to bring up topics right off the show, because there is a real chance that later on it's going to be on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel.
Yep.
Yesterday, real quick, for you football fans, we'll talk about, who's got the best 3-tier defense, and, the all SEC preseason rankings are full of beans, not to have, all that we'll do all that. Yesterday was a good day and a bad day in Major League Baseball. First of all, I think we'll find out later on that it was pretty good for the Phantom. It was not.
Well, we'll see.
It was not without its angst and anxiety.
Yeah.
But it was bad news in a couple of games. This is why John throws his hands up about the game of baseball. There was a walk-off catcher's interference in Major League Baseball. Phillies beat the Red Sox on a check with bases loaded, nobody out, bottom of the ninth, on a check swing, held up the swing. Yeah, here we go. I knew he'd have it. Yeah, this is bases loaded, nobody out, tie game. The checked his swing, and his check swing hit the catcher's glove. and that's catcher's interference, and all the base runners move up a base. Here comes the winning run.
Who's that guy?
Game.
Gee.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute.
That was Brandon Marsh, by the way, who, yeah, I don't get his deal. When Brandon, see, check swing.
Does the catcher have to stick his hand out that far?
He does not. But here's the deal. I think the hitter kind of reached out and, maybe a little wider arc of his swing. I've seen people do that before. So that's one game. If John was thinking, okay, all right, if his first time, I'll give baseball a chance. I'll give baseball a try.
Come on.
And you see a game decided about that, John's swearing off the game.
Come on. I mean, come on, Ump. I mean, you can't. The game is just, that's like throwing the manager out in the College World Series. I mean, you kidding me? I mean, the guy just really taps the catcher's glove, and you're going to, why would you advance the runners for that?
That's like in, say, an Iron Bowl when Malzahn runs a trick formation on fourth down with Bo Nix, and Alabama gets their punt return unit on, and then, hang on, wait a minute. You can't do that.
Chiswick running the Statue of Liberty.
First down and gets to
run
out the clock.
Just play the game.
Here's the other one yesterday. Again, if John's watching, if he's dropping down from Mars or something and saying, let me take a look at this game of baseball. One of John's favorite things about baseball combines with one of John's most absolute unfavorite things about life. The pitch clock violation. Let's move it along. It was the Cubs that were playing. Seiya Suzuki was at, this is in the first inning.
Yeah.
2 strikes on Suzuki because he fouls a ball off of his groin.
Ooh. That ought to be a free base.
Again, that's where we incorporate one of John's most unfavorite things.
Barry, that should be a free base. Well, if you foul it off and it hits you in the groin, they ought to just give you first.
Well, it ain't the pitcher's fault that you fouled it off of your groin. And when I say groin, you know what I'm talking about. For our ladies or our tender-eared listeners and viewers, you know where it hit them.
I mean, you say in the game, you got to walk it off. You might as well walk it to first.
See, you got to walk it off, right? Seiya Suzuki fouls one off, bounces down, hits him right in the junk.
Woo!
And so, therefore, you got to take a moment.
Yeah,
the umpire didn't see it that way. He staggers back in, tears in his eyes, I guess. Staggers back in, sets up. The umpire looks him dead in the eye and says, that is a pitch clock violation. That is a strike. That's strike 3. He has struck out, and he heads back to the dugout. The Cubs manager, Craig Counsell's like, come on, man.
Yeah, he should have fallen on the ground.
This is where referees.
Go football and just fall on the ground like a lineman does.
He's over there. I mean, he has taken one to the twig and berries. He's trying to walk that off. You got a cup? Sure, but the cup is
can only do so much.
Do not over expect in the protection of the cup. So he had to take a moment. He was like, whoa,
yeah.
And then he finally gets his to where he can, stand squarely on his feet, gets into the batter's box. The umpire says,
I'm taking it. He's going to be
and that was in the first inning, so it didn't mess up the game. He takes one in the groin and strikes out on it.
Ooh, yeah.
Longshore would have, again, dropping down from Mars. He's saying he's watching 2 games. He's watching that Cubs game yesterday in the first inning, and he's watching that Red Sox-Phillies walk-off game in the bottom of the 9th on a catcher's interference. And he's saying, this is the most screwed up game. Yeah. What are you people on earth doing?
No
guys are wasting my time here.
I'm glad you pointed that out today because I didn't see it live, believe it or not. But that just, man, come on, baseball. You're trying to get with it. That's not what people want to see. But my advice to the guy that got hit in the groin, just fall on the ground. Take a little time, collect yourself, take several deep breaths, get going, then get back in the batter's box. He probably was going to strike out anyway, Barry. I doubt his concentration well, was it 100%
Yeah,
with that
or his
incident happening?
comfort level
Yeah.
in the batter's
So he
box.
was
He ain't
probably going to
taking the
go
big
ahead and
swing.
strike out anyway if I had
That's
to
a fair point.
if I had
Fair
to
point.
guess. As far as the guy hitting the catcher's mitt, come on. There again, it looked like the catcher extended his hand a little bit too far there.
Well,
Look, if you're going to go something like that, go Kelly Leak and just kind of reach over home plate, knock a double to the fence like they did against
nice.
the Yankees
Mhm.
in the Bad News Bears.
I
But
wanna say Amanda Wurlitzer was on deck. I'm not
I
sure,
think
but
she might have been, or Rudy Stein, who took one for the team.
yeah, yeah,
Buttermaker said he had to lean into it.
yeah. But also yesterday, Braves win, so there is
Oh,
that.
did
But
they? You know,
we've got
that's
a
where I
lot of
thought you were
baseball.
going because I was actually looking up because I've not seen the Braves scores. Who'd they beat?
They beat the Giants in Atlanta last
Oh,
night,
good for them.
nine to
Yeah.
five, despite getting out hit in that
Out
game.
hit.
So,
That's
yep.
just a stat. And you know what I think about those. Now, Barry, I've missed something here. I know we were at SEC Media Days all last week, and I was out of town over the weekend, but I still,
Yeah.
had my computer. I was checking in on PM. But I got to tell you, this headline really surprised me today at AL.com. Did Auburn football get its recruiting swagger back? Analyzing the Tigers' hot streak in July. Somebody's got to inform me. What have I missed here? Hot
Oh,
streak in July?
Four-star linebacker Jaquez Wilkes out of Wadley, Alabama, which is just right up the road.
Huh.
Four-star linebacker commits to Auburn, top 24/7 linebacker. There was a good bit of news, a good bit of news, and a bit of good news for Auburn
Well, hey,
since we last talked.
that's good to
Um,
hear.
the the commitment of Jaquez Wilkes, which is not a big surprise. He's from, not too far away, and he had
Mm-hmm.
been leaning towards Auburn for a while. But that is a big one. It kind of silences people who are saying, "What is Freeze doing over there?"
Really?
I
Oh,
have not updated what Auburn's recruiting ranking is. Also, good news for Auburn in the 2027 football schedule. Auburn has added a non-conference game to 2027. Obviously, not this year, not next
let me
year,
take a
but
guess.
the year after that.
Let me take a guess. I've not seen this either.
Okay.
Uh,
There are two games now, two non-conference games on the 2027 Auburn football schedule. Again, not this year, not next year, but the year after that.
I
September
know this is
4th,
easy, but
Missouri State. We already knew Missouri State was
yeah.
coming to Auburn September 4th. Auburn has inked a game the
Let
very
me
next Saturday, September the 11th.
Alabama A&M, Alabama State.
No, it's out
They're
of state.
oh,
It's
it's out of state.
yeah.
Well, first of all, I got to look up where Missouri State is. Never heard of them. Never heard of
Missouri
them.
State, they're the Bears. I think I broadcast from there, Springfield, Missouri. The other one,
UT Chattanooga.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no. This is a group of four school. It's not one double A. It's the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee.
oh, wow, boy.
Middle Tennessee comes to
Woo.
Jordan Hare Saturday, September the 11th. It's the return of Derek Mason, who was at Auburn for a year
Oh,
under
sure
Brian
was.
Harsin
Yeah.
and then got the heck out. But he didn't have any bad feelings about Auburn. Maybe Harsin.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, we'll play Auburn at your place. So 2027 Auburn fans, you got this. Missouri State and Middle Tennessee State in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah, I see that, Barry. That comes off the 2026 season with Baylor, Southern Miss, and Jacksonville State. 2028, all they've got
Jacksonville.
listed is North Alabama. They do
Why
still
do
have the
they not play?
Hurricanes of Miami on the schedule in 29 and 30, but whew,
There you go.
um,
Big news. And it doesn't end there.
it
We spoke
doesn't.
moments ago about Derek Mason and
Yeah.
Brian Harsin. John's boy, Philip Marshall,
Uh-huh.
P. Marshall on AU. A story about Auburn coaches who were fired still deserve credit. And this is one of the best leads ever.
Yeah.
At Auburn, 5 of the last 7 head coaches have been fired. Those fired include, and John can name them alphabetically, chronologically, whoever you.
Sure.
Those fired include Doug Barfield, Terry Bowden, Gene Chizik, Gus Malzahn, and Brian Harsin. 5 of the last 7.
Sure.
4 of those who were fired, excluding Harsin, deserve to be remembered more warmly by Auburn people than they often are. How about Phillip? He said those guys that were fired, some of them deserve a little benefit of the doubt, except for Harsin. And he goes on and he gives the history behind the firings of every one of those coaches except Harsin.
Yeah, the thing.
I don't know if Harsin backed into his car inadvertently in the parking lot one day, or
I don't. Harsin gave Phillip a lot of one-on-one time. I think Phillip's big into little exclusives, one-on-one, forming a relationship, a little buddy, maybe. Who knows? I don't think Harsin wanted any part of that, so it rubbed him the wrong way. But once again, another example of great minds thinking alike. I mean, somebody's been saying, don't they need to put up a statue of Gene Chizik? He won a national title. I mean, what's the deal? It's kind of like you've forgotten about it. They used to have a drawing of Terry Bowden on the side of the stadium. Took that down. I don't know why. Malzahn took you to a national title game.
This is
short, but at least he got you there.
This is what I wonder, to be honest. Nope, I hit the wrong one. Bill says, so 5 of the last 7 have been fired. So who wasn't fired out of that group?
I mean, did Tuberville leave on his own? I don't want to ask him that in 15 minutes, but shouldn't they show him some more love?
I guess. And Brother Oliver, I don't know if Brother Oliver counts, to be honest. I don't know. So,
well, I mean, he counts more than Mike Price did at Alabama. I can promise you that.
That's because he actually coached several games for the Auburn Tigers.
But getting back to my original question before we take a break, I mean, what have I missed in the recruiting wars? I mean, it's great that they pick up this 4-star from down the road, but I mean, if I missed this just flurry of commitments, has the media been asleep at the wheel? Because I can tell you one program was reeling in commitments and it was like, dun-dun-dun-dun, and it was all over the place.
Yeah, it's just maybe there's an inkling, a shred of substance to the idea that it's part of the master plan for you.
Yes, master plan.
He's like Montgomery Burns. He's rubbing his hands together and saying, excellent.
Yeah, Smithers, go get me another one.
Auburn has moved up. What were they, 76, 78, something like that?
86, I believe.
Now
depends on what poll you were looking at.
Now, 24/7, who wrote the article I looked at.
Yeah.
Auburn right now, right ahead of San Diego State.
Look at that.
In number 65.
The Spartans.
The Aztecs.
Aztecs. I thought that was San Diego State.
San Jose State is the Spartans.
Oh, I thought you said San Jose State. My bad.
No, San Diego State.
San Diego. And, they're the Aztecs.
Houston's in the American League. So there we go.
Beautiful. Love it.
Underway. Yep. Everybody's ready. Hope you're ready because we got a lot going on today. Like John said, Tommy Tuberville, not too long from now. Also, Travis Ryer, Brian Matthews, John Barry, Longshore McKnight. What else do you want?
Sure.
We got it coming up for you. In association with Yellowhammer News, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Now, through July 31st, take advantage of the Quadruple Zero event at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. 0% APR for up to 48 months. 0 down payment. 0 payments for 90 days. And 0 cost for maintenance for 2 years or 24,000 miles. The Quadruple Zero event offer is available on select 24 and 25 model F-150s, Explorers, Expeditions, Broncos, Mustangs, and Escapes. Stop by Stivers Ford at 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery for more information. Stivers Ford, where Price sells cars and trucks.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us. About 20 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday. As Barry mentioned, Senator Tommy Tuberville in about 10 minutes here on the program. Let's see here on the River Region Straw chat line.
Couple of good things. Bill says, I guess Dye resigned instead of being fired since he may have been at AD as one of the time. Yeah, he remained as athletic director, didn't he? I think he did.
I believe he did stay as AD. Yeah.
So he resigned, and Tubbs resigned, but had a buyout. So Bill points out, resigned with a buyout means fired. In my mind.
Leslie tells me, Barry, that Freeze signed 4 stars in 24 days.
Yeah.
Where's the media on that? How did I miss that?
Yeah. Curtis says, it's amazing you skip over a big recruit that Auburn got. Spend all your time talking about Auburn fired coaches, SMH. We did talk about him. Jaquez Wilkes.
Yeah.
We did mention that Freeze has quieted some people. I know he's a linebacker. I know he's from Wadley. I know he was a lean for Auburn for a right time, so it's not like some amazing thing. But did we not talk about him? Leslie says, "Hey, Freeze turned out rumored to be playing Saugahatchee right now. Change in recruiting strategy.
Yeah, right there off the interstate.
Yeah, he ain't playing." Spyglass or anything or whatever.
I think he was at Moore's Mill a lot, but Saugahatchee's a nice track. Played that course many a time.
Yep.
Wait a minute, Theodis. What do you mean I'm not in the media? You kidding me?
He says, are you not the media? Yeah, we are. We are the media. We are a medium.
Yeah.
This counts. I mean, heck, here's how I define media, sports media. If you get a spot at SEC Media Days, that does not necessarily mean you're sports media. That means your guy with a laptop and maybe a microphone.
I saw that with my own eyes. I'm with you there. But I don't know what the definition of media is. I never really follow recruiting, Theodis. I got to tell you, I don't care who it is, Auburn, Alabama, Clemson. I'm letting my operatives in the field text me, ding, Bama with a new 5-star. Oh, wow, look at that. Huh. So really, they kind of do it for me, which I would greatly appreciate. Then I asked Rodney about it. Then I know kind of all I need to know. Here's something else. I never did this, but there were people that were desperate, and they asked a girl out to the prom, didn't really want to go with her, and at the last moment, they got cold feet and just didn't go pick her up. That's very rude and mean, and you shouldn't do that. And basically, that's what happened to Memphis yesterday. They went to the Big 12 and said, hey, we're going to give you $200 million. We don't want any of your revenue for the next couple of years. We just want to be in your league. And heck, if you want to kick us out down the road, go to it. They didn't even give them the opportunity. We just said, don't want you. Go back home.
Remember the Big 12, that when they expanded, remember who they got, right? They got Cincinnati. They got Houston, schools in that kind of footprint.
Yep.
With Memphis, urban area, have had established football for a long time. And yes, I would say Memphis, anytime at Memphis, when they get so geeked up over you that a win also includes a fight with a fan in the stands by one of the coaches. then
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal. The millions of dollars in sponsorship commitments to the league is what Memphis was offering. It took 14 months, meetings with numerous Big 12 presidents and administrators, an offer to the Big 12 that could have gone $200 million over the next 5 years. One of the Big 12 administrators remarked, quote, "We vetted Memphis when we added the other four, Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, and BYU, and we chose not to add them then. What's changed now?"
Yeah.
So,
Well, 200 million looks like is what's changed to me, but
yeah,
but
but
I don't know what it is about Memphis. I think they're redoing the Liberty Bowl, if I'm not
oh
mistaken.
my gosh,
I think
yeah.
I saw that they were
We
doing that.
broadcast from the Liberty Bowl last year, Troy and Memphis, and I mean the middle of the opposing stands were gone.
Yeah.
I mean, there were,
And Memphis has had its issues, to say the least. It's no Nashville, and they don't like hearing that, but it isn't. But I don't want, wow, that's a lot of money. I don't know what media market size Memphis is. Um, Probably bigger than a few other schools that are in the Big 12.
if Memphis is looking, and I know perception, I've been to these places, I know what it's kind of really like. If Memphis is putting forth their bid, they're thinking, all right, we didn't make it. We didn't make it. It's kind of like Rush. We didn't make it. Golly, I really wanted to go to that fraternity. I thought there was a great fit. And then you look over here and Jugdish, UCF is in. Jugdish, he spent all of Rush helping himself to punching cookies over in the foyer.
Yeah.
How in the world can you accept UCF over us? What are you doing? And Memphis comes to Troy this year. I love those guys. I think it's a solid program and everything. But UCF 40 years ago was just a little technical school north of Orlando. Now they got like 60,000 students and everything. You taking UCF over us? Well,
I mean,
Orlando's more of a destination point than Memphis, Tennessee, I guess.
I guess so. Heck, Arkansas is going to Memphis this year in week 4. Can't figure that one out. But both UCF and Memphis have both beaten Alabama in regular season contests. Maybe that should have been enough for the Tigers to get in, but obviously not. What are they in, the AAC or something? What conference?
Well, it's
are they
now
in?
called the American Conference. It's not the AAC.
American
it's
Conference.
just the American Conference because people kept getting them confused with the ACC.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Memphis, you're a nice little program and you've had a little success here and there.
Ruffle their hair.
Yeah, but you're just not what we're looking for. You're not. And I know what Central Florida. Well, that's the largest school in Florida from an enrollment standpoint, I believe.
That's correct. You're right.
It's in a hot area of Florida. Orlando's a booming spot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Memphis has to offer. I can't remember the last time I've been in Memphis. Really no reason for me to go.
There's UCF has won a national championship in football.
Well,
yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, maybe it's that, but that's got to sting a little bit. UCF.
I mean, you got this great proposal, $200 million.
Potential.
You got FedEx. You got Lowe's. I forgot who the other company was that was getting involved with it. But I'm thinking, man, you got some pretty heavy hitters backing you up. New stadium renovation.
Well,
they say thanks, but no thanks.
Because I think the Big 12 believes they can get FedEx anyway.
Yeah.
They can get Lowe's anyway.
Oh, yeah, Elvis. How do you turn down where Elvis lived? Jeez.
One of the most overrated things in the world.
Never been to Graceland.
I have never been to Graceland, but I've been outside of Graceland. It ain't all that. And I love Elvis. Hey, give me a little blue suede shoes or
Rainy Night in Memphis
or something. Yeah. So, back to the old drawing board from Memphis. They got to stay in the American Conference while they look at their urban brethren like Houston and Cincinnati. Heck, Louisville is in a Power 4 conference.
I mean, that does kind of sting. Houston, Louisville. Who's the other one you mentioned?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Tuberville used to coach there, as a matter of
there's
fact.
little old Memphis still trying to scratch and claw their way in the American Conference. That's pretty tough. Pretty tough stuff.
$200 million, and they turned them down. They must hate your guts, basically.
They really must. I'm thinking, what the heck is going on with that? That really,
When we come back, United States Senator and former head football coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats, Tommy Tuberville, will be here in just a moment. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you know that Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air service fee is good for 30 days for all 4 trades? That's right. If we service your home's electric, plumbing, HVAC, or garage doors, we will come back within 30 days for any of the 4 trades at no additional cost to you. A licensed and trained Dixie technician will service your home with our signature warehouse on wheels, and all work will be backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. What are you waiting for?
Hey, welcome back in, everybody. About 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Senator Tommy Tuberville joining us here this morning from his office in the nation's capital. Good morning, Senator. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good morning from the clown show.
We like to think we have a little bit of that going on here as well, Senator.
Well, you're supposed to be that way, but this was supposed to be a serious place up here, but we find ways to make it comical every day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me ask you this. Last week, John and I think it was like our 28th SEC Media Days that we worked and attended and everything. It was in Atlanta. And we've always said, we probably may have said this to you before, Senator, you seemed, when you were at Auburn, to be one of the few coaches in the whole league in that whole time who not only seemed to kind of embrace SEC Media Days, you also looked like you enjoyed it a little bit.
Well, as a coach, you're in sales. That's all you are. You're out there to sell tickets and put out the best product you can on the field. And what better way to sell than through Media Day? I always enjoyed it. I got there a day early and tried to hit every radio and TV I possibly could because, that's it's called marketing. And a lot of these guys they're all into themselves and. They think the world revolves around them. They need to come up here for a couple of days and spend, and they'll find out real quick they're very, very not very relevant when it comes to every day. But again, sell your product, be positive, give everybody an idea of what to expect in a couple of months, and go from there.
Yeah, a lot of salesmanship going on in Atlanta. As Barry mentioned last week, everybody's undefeated. Everybody's happy, propping up their programs. One topic that came up last week at Media Days, Coach, and I'd love to get your thoughts about it. Do you think Nick Saban is going to return to coaching?
Who knows about Nick? When you get out, you have that urge of feeling of something's missing. I went through the same thing, and Nick is pretty much staying busy. Again, I saw him not too long ago and had dinner with him, and I think he's fine. I mean, he's out there doing good. He's got partners and in several entities, and I think everything. If it came down to it, I would say, and it's just me saying this. I have no clue. If he were to do it, it'd be in NFL.
Yeah.
It would not be in college football. And college football is a mess. It's a disaster waiting to continue to happen every day unless they get control of it. And I think the only one that can do it now is the president. And we've talked about him doing an executive order of doing something to get it back on track for education and actually for the student athlete. I think he's the only one that can do it. But NFL would probably now. That's just me. You have to ask Nick. I
Yeah,
don't want to put
sure.
words in anybody's mouth.
Yeah, I just getting your opinion on what you
Yeah.
thought about it, because it was kind of a buzz. And speaking of doing other things, do you think Bruce Pearl will ever be in politics?
One day, I think he will be. He fits this narrative, and he loves the country, and that's your number one priority. You have to love the country, and then you have to see it through your eyes of the direction that we're going. And it's like a business. It's like a coaching a team. Bruce and I have talked, and he understands things are not all great in the world of what we all grew up in. I think he'd like to try to help. I don't think this may be the time. But again, he's the one that has to make that decision, and he could and very very soon get in it, or he could wait a few years. But I think politics is the future for him after he gets out of coaching, when he decides whenever that is.
Tommy Tuberville is with us, Senator from the state of Alabama. Have you talked with President Trump about the involvement maybe in forcing or abetting a name change for the Washington franchise in the NFL?
Oh yeah. Well, I've been around him when he's vented about it. We all have. The Redskins are a name that even the Indian population up here want to be brought back. And of course, you've got this owner they're all scared of the players, and of course, most of the players are minority, and that's fine. But they should all be Americans, and which I think most of them are. But they want it brought back. But this owner's afraid he's going to hurt somebody's feelings and create a bad team atmosphere. I mean, it's your team, buddy, and you're supposed to watch out for everybody. And president's putting a lot of pressure on him, and I would love to see it come by. I can't stand to. I don't even know who it is. When you see that the great colors they have, gold, and I think it's kind of a maroonish, and then you got a W on the side of the helmet. What the hell is that?
Coach, I saw, I think it was last night, Fox News was talking about it, the Washington Post, which I don't read, but they quoted that that 90% of the Native American population wants the Redskin name back.
Oh, exactly. And, the Seminoles voted it in down at Florida State, the Braves. It's just we've gone through a period here of about 8 years of wokeness and DEI, diversity, social justice, and all that. How about being an American? How about just believing in our country and doing what people want together and not about your wants and needs? And it's coming back. President Trump has really brought our country back to a certain point, but to get people like this owner from the Redskins to make a decision for the people and not for the players, because the team is not the players, it's for the fans. People need to start remembering that the fans buy the tickets. They don't buy the tickets, you don't have a job. So you're an employee. You're not somebody that gets to make all these decisions. But we'll see what happens. I would love to see it go back.
Yeah.
Senator Tuberville, full disclosure, a sliver of my income and a little bit of my activity day to day is involved in public radio. Can you speak as to the logic of the rescission action taken to cut federal funding from public radio and public television?
Yeah, but since I've been here for going on 5 years, there's been warnings, shots fired over the top of the head of public broadcasting and national public radio, and saying, "Listen, you are a American-owned, taxpayer-funded entity. Be fair, be balanced. Don't get in politics. Do what you need to do to help the American people, not take sides and divide the American people. Well, they did exactly the opposite, and they thought that they were untouchable. There are some entities that are very good. In Alabama, PBS served a good purpose in terms of state government. You have some of these entities that are just absolutely, totally over the top, for a different type of country. And we looked at all the data. We read all the things that are going on. We just shouldn't make this decision haphazardly. We made it for the American people. Now, I think, for instance, Alabama will be able to fund some of theirs and they'll continue on with it. But at the end of the day, you just got to look at this. We are funding everything that goes on in the world, not just in our country. We have to start cutting money from entities that could be really state run. So the state of Alabama could probably afford a couple $1 million for all this. If you can't, you're in the wrong business. So it got out of hand. All these need to be run by the state, not by the federal government. And when we do that, I think people will see the downward trend of our budget absolutely coming back to being balanced instead of going the other way.
Coach, I had someone ask me to ask you this. They knew you were coming on today. I don't know if it's a little ahead of the game or too early to talk about it, but obviously you've made the announcement that you're going to run for governor. That race is in about a year and a half. And someone was just curious. Hello? They were curious about your thoughts on sports wagering, lotteries, casino gaming. I know it's been a big part of conversation in this state. It's happening in other states around the country. Is that something that you've thought a lot about?
I was afraid that we had lost him when we
don't know what happened there.
He asked.
Yeah. Everything good on our end. Maybe they're trying to get us reconnected. I think it's interesting, Barry. Why did the Cleveland Indians change their name?
For the same reason. For the same issue.
Yeah.
And it's if it's cool with the affected population,
yep,
it should be cool with the ownership and cool, you can't be offended if the target group isn't offended, you know?
And if they seem to have a majority of 90% say we're in, we want it back, they're proud of it. I don't know. I don't understand that either. I never have it. It's okay for the Braves, but it's not okay for the others. I thought that was, I don't know, interesting.
Well, what John's referring to, just to kind of catch everybody up with that, the president is urging Washington and Cleveland to revert to their former names. President Trump has threatened to block a deal for the Commanders' new stadium if they don't go back to the Redskins. And I guess he has the authority to do this. He's threatening to restrict the stadium deal. I'm not sure how he can do that, especially if it's private funding, but that's what he wants. And evidently it's a reflection of what the population wants, what the team wants, what the fans want. And I think you mentioned before, the group that's supposedly being offended has said that, man, we want it like this. We want it to be.
Yeah, I think the federal government, the Congress controls the budget of Washington. They've got a mayor and a city council and all that type of stuff, but Congress kind of controls the purse strings for the city. And, maybe that was part of it, that they had, claimed that they were going to put X amount into this new venue. If they don't like, I don't know. I'm trying to, I think the Redskins or the Commanders play in Maryland.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. And the RFK used to, the old stadium was in DC.
Oh man, it was right down from the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
Right there. If you had if you were in a helicopter or something, I've seen pictures with the old RFK Stadium, and right down the road is
And
is this the
I guess they
Washington
turned.
Monument.
I guess they tore RFK down because the way I understand it,
I
they want to build it right back at that old location.
I thought it was still there because I know there has been a soccer team that has played there
Yeah,
before. Um, I think it's still there, but it is closed. I think it's still standing, but nobody's allowed in. It's a closed facility.
yeah.
Um,
That's
and it
going
was
to
one
be
of those
interesting to see how that.
multi-purpose deals. They don't need to move back into RFK Stadium. They need to.
Yeah, it was. Boy, I understand they were building the new facility where RFK used to be.
Yeah.
They're going to tear it down, or maybe
Yeah.
and then build it there, maybe next to it. Similar to what they're doing in Nashville with their stadium.
Yeah.
Atlanta, of
Yeah.
course, they
Yeah.
built their stadium right next to the old one. So I don't know. That's interesting. I will say, I mean, I don't know. I follow politics, but I don't. Um, follow it as close as politicians do. This did kind of surprise me
Mhm.
that the president would have such a strong opinion about a name of a professional sports franchise.
Mhm. Well, you
But
know what the reaction is from his opponents. Doesn't he have better things to do than worry about a football stadium or an NFL franchise or the name of an NFL franchise? That type of thing. But it's certainly worthy of asking. There evidently was some issue on Senator Tuberville's
yeah,
side of things. We knew, as you might imagine, we knew we had a very definite time slot to get him in, and unfortunately, because of him losing his signal, that time slot is now passed. So we'll have to get him again very soon. But we do
yeah,
appreciate he spent about
sure,
12, 14 minutes with us in a
certainly.
very, very busy schedule. And what he said, John, about his availability at SEC media days, you and I have
Hmm.
spoken about it before. He'd get there the day before. We would have him on every year from our spot at SEC media days. Many times it was the day before, and he was very accessible to us as a football coach, and certainly he's been very accessible to us as a United States senator. So I like his approach. He said, "Look,
Sure.
this is salesmanship. This is marketing. This is a chance to represent Auburn and represent our university and all that kind of stuff." It's one of the reasons why he's been on the front lines. Am I right in saying this, John? He has been as visible a senator as there is in the country.
No
He
doubt.
will he understands the media's role, and he's not fighting it. He's not grousing about it. He's embracing it. You want to
Yeah, I'm
know what he
trying to
thinks?
think
There's going to be a
of.
there's going to be a there's going to be time where he'll let you know what he thinks
Oh,
and
no
let his
doubt.
constituents know what
Oh,
he
yeah,
thinks.
very, very open and accommodating to the media. I mean, I'm thinking Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, Ted Cruz of Texas, Tuberville of Alabama, Katie Britt. She's on television a lot. I mean, I
Mhm.
see those senators on television all the time. I'm sure there's others I maybe not be thinking of on the top of my head, but those come to mind
Yep.
immediately. And yeah, they don't have anything to hide. Very transparent. You're right. I mean, when we were at media days, when he was at Auburn, always would stop by, always would come by and talk to us. That has kind of changed for a lot of reasons. But I do remember he'd come a day before because that was kind of always my opening question, kind of to warm him up a little bit. Hey, you playing Shoal Creek this afternoon? Which normally was the case.
Right.
I'd found out that somebody would take him to play at Shoal Creek either before or after his time in Birmingham for the media event. So that always kind of you got to hit him with a non-sports question. Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, I am. Of course, I'm angling like you need a fourth, but that I never got that opportunity. But when you see them, I learned that, Barry, from asking Saban, "Hey, you ever going to play any in-state competition like you did at LSU?"
Came back to bite you there,
Whew,
though.
man,
That
you ain't
noon with
kidding.
Nick deal, that one time that John
Oh,
went and John was feeling a little froggy, he says, I'm gonna ask him about playing in-state teams.
mm,
And
never got invited back.
he served it up there, and
Yeah,
Saban had those laser beam eyes right through him, and he very succinctly, very curtly informed John that scheduling is Coach Moore's responsibility, and all of those Goomba sports reporters who show up at noon with Nick from the Tuscaloosa News and from the Birmingham TV stations and from the little radio station in Double Springs, wearing their Alabama gear, by the way.
Yeah.
They looked up at John like, don't you know the rules?
I don't know, Barry, if this happened, but I got a
never
feeling
saw him again at that event.
That Saban went to Cedric and said, scratch that guy off the lunch list. He's not coming back.
Which I'm glad he put it that way.
Yeah.
Nothing against Cedric or anything like that, but I'm glad he put it that way. Scratch him off the lunch list. Because if he said scratch him off the list, I mean, we're talking about cement and Black Warrior River, and no, not that list.
Don't go that far.
No, just he ain't coming to noon with Nick anymore.
I thought it was a valid question. I mean, he did it in Baton Rouge, but I think people know my stance on it. I mean, I know why they're not doing it. I mean, people can write articles all day, and well, I think it's in their mind it's good.
Oh yeah, there ain't no doubt they think it's good.
And in my mind it's good. But it ain't gonna happen, and unless they're forced to do it in some type of playoff format, like is what happened in basketball with UAB and South Alabama. There's no way they would have ever scheduled those two teams for a regular season game in basketball. Now, if for somehow, some way, if one of the in-state schools happens to make the 12-team playoff, and they're just thinking,
you almost said it with a straight face, John.
Let's just say if they do, and they're matched up against the Crimson Tide, that's the only way it's happening.
And I got a bone to pick with Auburn too about this. South Alabama this year, Jacksonville State next year, North Alabama in 2028. Look, the greatest coach in Troy history is an Auburn graduate.
Yeah.
So many Troy fans also follow the Tigers. They would sell that place out much more than North Alabama would. Why is it South Alabama, Jacksonville State, North Alabama? What has Troy done to get a humiliating kick in the crotch?
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Auburn will play them. Auburn's played UAB before. Auburn's played Jacksonville State before. At least they'll do it. But Troy is starting to stick out. Is Troy sticking to their guns and
I'll say this.
Money?
I think Troy, and there again, why do you schedule Central Missouri State or whoever it is?
Just regular Missouri State.
Yeah, Missouri State. Why do you schedule them and not Troy? Here's the reasoning, in my opinion. And I'll give you a kind of a story here. Troy beat LSU in Baton Rouge. They beat Nebraska. They beat Missouri. They beat Oklahoma State. Troy's beaten some name schools. It'll be 30 years this next summer in 2026.
Yeah.
I won a golf tournament, club championship type deal. Beat all my buddies to win the tournament. 16-team field, championship flight. I won it in 1996. Barry, I have not had a fair bet since then. It was great bringing that trophy home. And, hey, man, way to go. Good job, man. Great couple of days of golf there to put it together. Looking back on it, I probably lost more money on the golf course because I can't get a fair bet. Because, hey, club champ. Man,
now,
I got to have a couple of shots.
In 96, when John won the club championship, it wasn't just, there was probably some money out there. Probably so. I think there was some side action going on out
that's
there. What I'm saying. I have not even heard any anecdotal evidence that John has ever played a round of golf just to play around golf.
Just for funsies.
So
that's like Troy. Yeah, they win these games, and everybody's going, So it's almost, you're glad you won it, but then you can't get a fair bet for the next 30 years. I mean, no telling how much money I've lost on the golf course because I got screwed on the first tee because I couldn't get a good bet. But I played anyway because I love the action. And Troy's the same way. Well, no, y'all beat LSU on the road. We don't want any part of y'all.
So that's a bittersweet trophy that John's got, probably, sitting up in a closet somewhere, because he looks at it and he's thinking, man, before that trophy, I used to clean up. Now everybody's like, hey, he won the championship 30 years ago. What's the 30 years? Come on. Here's the other thing about Auburn's non-conference scheduling. They don't have as many.
Yep.
I'm just saying, and people have been starting to talk, Auburn's future schedules non-conference, not counting this year, Baylor, Southern Miss, Jacksonville State, Miami home and away.
I like that.
Missouri State, Middle Tennessee, North Alabama. That's it. That's it. I have just named eight games, 7 schools. That's Auburn's non-conference schedule. Southern Miss, Baylor, Jack State, Missouri State, Middle Tennessee, North Alabama, and a home and away against Miami. You look at Alabama.
That's not what your customers want, John Cohen.
You look at Alabama, their non-conference, Ohio State home and away. Notre Dame home and away. Oh, Arizona home and away. John's going.
That's a Greg Byrne game.
Georgia, he used to be the AD there. Georgia Tech home and away. Virginia Tech home and away.
Whoa, they're going to Blacksburg? What?
In 2034, and then they're coming to Tuscaloosa in 2035. That's a little bit of a contrast.
Wait a minute. I think you're missing somebody, Barry. Is Boston College not on that?
I did miss them on purpose because I knew that John would come up. Minnesota home and away, as opposed to North Alabama, Missouri State, Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State's also on that non-con.
Yeah. Everyone that I'm looking at Alabama's future schedules is a Power 5.
And some years they have 2.
Maybe South Florida, and I can't remember. South Florida is the only one. Auburn, in their future schedules, they've got 2 Power 5s. Baylor in Auburn next year, and the home and away against Miami in.
Now, I like the Miami matchup. I like that a lot.
That's the only one. That's the only home and away they've got.
Has Auburn ever played Miami? Yeah, they played them in the Kickoff Classic, didn't they?
They did. They have played them before, yes.
So I like that. Now, it isn't Auburn's fault because UCLA was scheduled and they pulled out. When they got into the Big Ten, UCLA said, we're done. We're not playing those games.
Yeah, true.
True. But, I think they're waiting to see if they go to 9 conference games. I still think that's going to happen. I really do. I felt even stronger about it after being in Atlanta last week. Nobody told me that. I just kind of get a bit of vibe on it.
Don't you get tired, Auburn fans? I'm just asking. Don't you get tired of waiting? You're waiting to see how things will pan out with the revenue sharing before you really start recruiting. You're waiting to see what will happen with the 9th game. By the way, Auburn and Miami have played 11 times.
Oh, wow. Have they really?
All of them before 1985. Last time they played, 1984 in the Kickoff Classic. Miami won it in East Rutherford 20-18. But they've played before, home and away, several times.
So,
back before Miami got really good.
It's all about your customer base. People like to refer to them as fans. That's fine. But I like to refer to them as customers because they're buying tickets. They're buying concessions, souvenirs, parking passes.
Agree with you on that concept.
It is a customer. Customers don't want to see Missouri State. They don't want to see Jacksonville State. They don't want to see Mercer or Eastern Illinois. Don't want to see it. And these athletic directors, I think, are beginning to realize it. There again, I don't know I know how it probably played out. Many moons ago, hey, man, we got to have at least 2 or 3 teams on here I know we can beat. I mean, I've got to give my coach a little breathing room, or I'm looking for a new coach every 3 years. So I'm sure that's how it all started out. So, if they're going to do it, the big boys say, well, heck, we might as well do it too. I mean, if they are, why should we beat our brains out each and every week playing, 10, 11, 12 great games? But I think that's where we're kind of leaning or heading toward, because the customers want it and the TV networks want it.
Well, my great friend, love this guy, Jason Jones, he says, just for clarity, John asked Saban about playing Troy, but yesterday talked about how it makes no sense for Bama to play Troy rather than Mercer or Compass University, meaning, Southern Miss, Eastern Illinois, Middle Tennessee, all that.
Jason,
it was an open-ended question. He was not leading Saban into that, although
I was a little cocky, young radio guy back 18, 19 years ago when Saban arrived, and I was invited to this event, and I knew what the answer was going to be, but I thought, wait a minute, you've played in-state competition at LSU, so what is your feeling on it here in Alabama? Nobody else had asked him since he'd been in Tuscaloosa. I'm thinking, well, somebody needs to know.
Well,
and I knew what the answer was going to be. I didn't think the answer was going to be, well, I don't handle the scheduling. Mal Moore does.
He didn't think that would be the last time he ever opened his mouth at a noon with Nick Thiel. Hey, John, that one day in pre-law, this stuck with John.
Yeah.
Even though you know the answer, you still got to get it on the record, right?
Yes.
I mean, on the court record when they review testimony and everything. Well, nobody ever asked him that. It's not a part of the court record.
And
that's
you know what?
You got to put it on the record.
Where were these guys, Barry, that now rely on what other media members do to write their columns on the internet? Because nobody wrote about it. Nobody. Yeah. There were 30 other media members at that luncheon. You would have thought at least one or two of them would have said, well, John Longshore from Montgomery asked Nick Saban about playing in-state competition. Not one. Didn't read it anywhere.
He asked that question, and you could have heard a pin drop. I mean.
But I hear you, Jason. I know what I get it.
Yeah.
But they're just not going to do it. They have no desire to do that.
Jason says, full disclosure, I don't care if Auburn or Alabama ever play Troy. And believe me, I don't waste a lot of sleep over it myself. I just want them to stop paying other Sun Belt schools millions of dollars. That's a fair point.
But is Troy not getting millions playing LSU and Nebraska and some of these other? I mean, does it matter where the million comes from?
They do. It really, it helps. I think, it would be a wonderful road game experience for the Troy fans. Either one of those. I think it would be.
Barry, I've been to a lot of games at Jordan-Hare. I might disagree with you on that.
Well, hey, it's funny. I broadcast in 100 places, but the only football games I broadcast from Bryant Denny and Auburn have been spring games at both schools.
Yeah.
And AHSAA Super 7 games, the high school games. I've broadcast Bama basketball, women's basketball, baseball, Auburn, same deal and all that. It's just weird, I've done a game from Minnesota. I've done a game from Nebraska. I've done a game from United States Military Academy. Hey, you ever done a regular season game from Auburn? No.
Yeah.
Never have. Alabama? No. I just think it would be a great experience for the Auburn fans, and it would make financial sense. It's not like they're having to, they're having to lose money on behalf of Troy.
I'm not sure it would be a great experience. I think they would be a little nervous and anxious until they felt the game was at hand. I don't think they're nervous and anxious when Mercer and Eastern Illinois show up, but that could be just me. I know Travis Ryer on YouTube Talking Tide is scheduled up next with us. Probably need to take a quick time out, and we'll hook up with Travis when we return.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing. and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Okay, welcome back into everybody. About 6 minutes past the top of the hour. Great interview with Tommy Tuberville earlier. If you missed it, you can check that out, because you can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, iTunes. So many ways to check out our content, and we really appreciate all of those outlets, along with Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there as well. Always a write-up every afternoon about what the show was about and what went on, and we really appreciate those great folks at yellowhammernews.com. But, man, so many ways to check us out, and we really appreciate that. Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, joining us here today. Hey, Travis, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing really well, basking in the afterglow of SEC Media Days. Are you a fan of the content that the media churns out from that event? Are you an overconsumer? Do you overeat at Media Days?
No, I do not. That's about the only time of the year that I adhere to a strict diet, Barry. I'm pretty lean, right, when it comes to SEC Media Days. I mean, there are some things that, from the Alabama perspective, I find to be very interesting coming out of the event, but they're fewer and farther between these days, it seems like. We've talked about this in the past. It almost feels like the real news value these days comes from Destin with the spring meetings. That's where we seem to glean a little bit more in terms of actual news than we do, what has become a spectacle in the SEC Media Days.
I'm with you, Travis. I agree. I think the last several years, Destin has been more newsworthy, and the Media Days has just become kind of a showcase for the SEC network to broadcast it. I mean, I'm driving home last Thursday, and I'm thinking, what did we really find out? What was newsworthy? What was breaking stuff? Nothing with the 9-game conference schedule, nothing with the expanded playoff, nothing with an SEC Big Ten, scheduling agreement. It was just, hey, we're undefeated. We feel great about our team. We love our quarterback, and man, we can't wait to open up on August the 30th.
Yeah, and where are the media predictions, right? What's the predicted order of finish? What are the all SEC teams? Those type of things can be conversation starters for sure. But yeah, as you said, feels like the SEC is taking a stance and the Big Ten is taking a stance. Remember, we were going to have this unholy union of the SEC and the Big Ten, and they're going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. But when it comes to the playoff, the potential format moving forward doesn't seem like they're in line right now.
It was interesting to me to note, and John and I pathologically turned down any opportunity to vote for the preseason polls. I've never done it. But it's interesting to note for Alabama, 2 first team all conference preseason offensive players, Ryan Williams and Caden Proctor. And Travis, for the first time in SEC Media Days history, not a single defensive player on the preseason all SEC teams. John tells me that and $1 in quarters will buy me a large soft drink. What's your take?
I feel the same way about that, Barry, as I do some of the stuff we've seen in the offseason about Alabama's defensive line might be the best in the country. Alabama's safety tandem might be the best in the country. There's been a lot of accolades for the Alabama defense since January, and I've kind of been on record, as I have been really, about this entire team going into year 2 under Kalen DeBoer. Great, let's see it. Caden Proctor, to me, as a first team offensive tackle, doesn't mean much until I see if he's really going to take another big step forward. And then I hear him at SEC Media Days, and not to overreact to these comments, but he says he's actually put on weight. And I've said since January, this was a critically important offseason for Caden Proctor. Now, he also said he intends to lose a good bit of weight before the FSU game, but I think there's an area where he needs to improve. It's against speed and twitch and athleticism. And so you hear things like that and you wonder exactly if he's going to take a big step. But it's part of, again, being careful about not overreacting in mid-July, because we still have 6 weeks or so until we get to the season opener.
Overreacting. Is the media overreacting on Arch Manning?
I think it's pretty clear that when you talk about the perceived top 3 teams in the league going into the season, you think Texas, you think Georgia, and you think Alabama. Texas, pretty much the overwhelming pick to win the league. I think that starts at quarterback, and the belief that Arch Manning, relative to Stockton of Georgia, Simpson of Alabama, is going to be a clear choice there of those 3 teams at the quarterback position. Now, schedule-wise, I kind of like Georgia. I mean, they've got tough games, don't get me wrong, but they get Ole Miss at home. They get Texas at home. They get Alabama at home. They get Florida and Jacksonville. Alabama goes to Georgia, obviously, but I think Georgia and Alabama, from a schedule perspective, I kind of like. Texas has a sneaky first month of the game season road trip to Florida, in that neighborhood, late September, I think, early October. It's going to be tough. It's tougher for Texas, certainly from a schedule standpoint, starting with the road trip to Ohio State in week 1. But conference-wise, it's going to be more difficult for Steve Sarkisian's team too.
Where is the first challenging home game? Real challenging. I mean, will Wisconsin? I mean, are you centering there? Well, the home schedule may not be all that tough until the 3rd Saturday in October.
Yeah, and you could argue with kind of the turmoil that Tennessee has had at quarterback. What's that going to like? Could be LSU in November. That's the game I would circle on the home schedule. But when you talk about maybe Oklahoma, we'll see how John Mateer and that offense sort of moves forward with the changes that Brent Venables has made there. I don't think you can overlook that game, given the performance Alabama put forth in Norman last November. So, but the road is obviously, I think, where a lot of the focus is going to be, because you are going to even have the road trip at South Carolina. That could potentially be a huge game in Columbia. And then, you go to Florida State to kick things off. So that'll obviously be one. And Auburn on the road is always one that you're going to circle if you're Alabama. So, I think from a schedule perspective, it sets up pretty good for Alabama.
You mentioned that South Carolina game, Travis. You know, it's the 5th of 5 straight, right after that Tennessee game in Tuscaloosa. That to me, that's a watch out game.
Yeah, I agree. And Cola, that's, Williams Brice has always had a history of the longer that team can stay in games, that place is undervalued as a tough place to get a win when things are going well. I've said this before. The interesting part with South Carolina is under Shane Beamer, can they start to stack seasons? Because it's kind of been the last few years, it's been every other season, kind of talked about him and that program in relation to what Mark Stoops had going at Kentucky for a while there. So no doubt, I agree. Both road trips to the Columbias had the potential for danger, I think.
Travis Reier, I was talking with somebody in a business. I was visiting with one of Troy's business partners, and it wasn't a business call, but we were talking about how much he enjoys Travis's segment, John. He said, I like it because I can go back to the office and I can repeat something Travis said, and everybody's like, wow, and he wanted in that vein, he wanted me to ask you a 2-part question because he's heard about this, and I don't even like asking the question because it makes me feel a million years old. What is the Husky position defensively at Alabama? And will Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. be a force in whatever that position is?
Yeah, it's essentially in a lot of ways what the star position was under Nick Saban. It's that sort of slot corner, but it's probably a little bit different in that it is an absolute base position in a 4-2-5 defense. And it had become that with the way offensive football had evolved, even with Saban. They were pretty much playing with a star, playing nickel probably 80% of the time. But with Kane Womack, it's an absolute base position. In fact, it's interesting because even when you get to 3rd and long, they don't play dime. So they don't play that sort of money dime back guy. They stay in the 4-2-5. So you're absolutely going to be out there down in and down out. I think Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. is in that mix. You got a couple other guys that he's probably battling with that they feel good about. Red Morgan, we saw a good bit at that position last year as a true freshman. But we'll see how that turns out. Dre's kind of a safety and a Husky, and it's tough if you're if you're a third safety even in this defense. In the Saban era, that meant you were going to be on the field some at least. But with the way they play 2 safeties, a Husky, and no dime back, if you're that third safety, you better be the Husky, or it could be a corner that you see at Husky. So that's a tough spot for corners and safeties in this defense because they pretty much stick with their base.
Travis, over the last couple of days, a subject has come back up, and I'm just curious your thoughts on it. Alabama playing in-state schools in football. You for it or against it?
I have no problem with it. I mean, I don't, but some things are gonna, die hard, I guess you can say, when it comes to that. For me, I don't really have an issue with it, at this point, but I won't say it's just outright silly, but to me, it's pretty silly at this point that, we're still having these sort of discussions about that.
Okay, what about uniforms? I mean, do you have pearls to clutch if Alabama were to come out in white helmets?
Oh, white helmets?
Or whatever.
I'm not anti-white helmet guy. I'm not. But some of this other craziness you see with the uniforms this time of year, now with AI, it's gotten even worse, probably, when it comes to the wannabe uniform designers. No, I don't think you need to mess with it too much. I didn't mind back in the day with Perkins, when they brought the white helmets back out. I didn't mind them. I thought they were okay. Now, I'd probably like the white helmets more with the road whites than with the home jersey. But yeah, I'm not entirely anti-white helmet guy. But when you start putting, houndstooth designs and things like that, on the stuff, that's a little bit much for me.
Here's what I'm hearing about that, and who knows, is that some schools are tinkering with the idea, where you have a patch on your jersey, of having a patch with a QR code on it, so fans, when they're watching TV, can scan the QR code and get the player's Instagram or open
Oh,
doors,
wow.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yikes!
Speaking of that, Barry, I could certainly see schools putting logos on their uniforms like you see in the NBA. I could see that happening
For
for
sure.
revenue.
Yeah.
Revenue stream. Travis, when you were in Tuscaloosa and covering Alabama every day inside the Malmore building, I don't know if you ever got the look or Nick Saban cut his eyes towards you, but I asked him a question about 16 years ago, I guess it was. I said, Coach, when you were at LSU, you played in-state schools. What is your stance now at Alabama? He paused. He turned his head. He looked at me. I mean, his eyes were drilling a hole through me like, who the hell is this guy? And his answer was, I don't handle scheduling. You'll have to talk to Mal Moore about that.
Yeah.
So, obviously he wasn't pushing it or, something that had to happen when he was in Tuscaloosa. They did do it when he was in Baton Rouge. I just go back to basketball, Travis. Wimp didn't want any part of UAB. I think David Hobbs played him in the NIT and got beat.
I was at that game at Coleman.
And I do know Wimp got beat by South Alabama in an NCAA tournament game in the Omni.
Ronnie Arrow, right?
Yes.
Coach back in the day.
Junie Lewis, Jeff Hodge. Oh,
yeah, good team. That was a hell of a game. I remember that one too. But yeah, I don't know. To me, the further we get away from sort of the core reason for why all this happened, it just gets a little more silly to me that Alabama doesn't play the in-states. They play them in baseball, obviously non-revenue type situations and things like that. But is it going to kill you to play Alabama A&M instead of Chattanooga or someone like that?
And as you can imagine, Travis, this is really all centered around Troy. Why won't Alabama or Auburn play Troy? And, I think they're a victim of their own success. I mean, they went to Baton Rouge and won. They went to Lincoln and won. They've beaten Missouri and Oklahoma State and Mississippi State. And they're thinking, we don't want any part of them.
Well, and even Jacksonville State now, with where that program has gotten to, especially with Rich Rod there. And, I think Jacksonville State beat Florida State in Tallahassee?
Yeah, they beat Ole Miss in Oxford.
Yeah, so, I think Jack State is kind of in that too. And so, yeah, I guess when you're going to play group of 5 types, I don't know. They're kind of the same to me, but you're going to play South Florida. You're going to play teams like that. Yeah, you're going to see. I think Arkansas goes to Memphis.
They do.
That's one of those games Sam Pittman has to win this year. Because he's getting I think they get Notre Dame maybe the next week in Fayetteville.
They do.
Pretty.
I mean, if Travis, if you lose to a team that the Big 12 said, nah, we don't want your $200 million,
right?
You better win that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're running short of time, I'm not going to bring up to John that Mississippi State's playing at Southern Miss to open up the season, because that's another half hour right there.
Well, Barry, I think they're going to Troy in a couple of years.
They are. Yep.
And they've been to UAB. I mean, Travis, any school in nothing against Troy, but any school in the SEC that goes to Troy, goes to UAB, goes to Southern Miss, I think they've been somewhere else. I'm thinking, what are y'all doing in the league? Come on.
Well, I mean, you're seeing even Alabama's playing some 2-for-1s now.
Yeah.
2 with USF and then 1 in Tampa. So I think, if you're Alabama in that scenario, you see more value in going to Tampa. If you're going to go on the road, you're almost getting one of those neutral site games that you're not playing, but you get it as a part of a 2-for-1.
Well, Travis Ryer on YouTube. What's in the hopper for this week, Travis?
Yeah, we did our No Sleep Till show yesterday because you got NFL camps obviously opening up. So sort of tempering our optimism and confidence level in the Jags for the upcoming season. But we'll have second helping coming up, I think, tonight on the channel. Brent Beard and myself. Brent was in Atlanta for SEC Media Day, so we'll kind of work through the media predictions and some of the storylines that we're interested in coming out of that event. And then Chase Goodbread and myself here are going to get cranked back up with Talking Tide, centric to the Alabama Crimson Tide and sort of some pre-fall camp scenarios that we're interested in, because as we know, that gets started, I guess, a week from tomorrow in Tuscaloosa.
I believe so. Yeah,
you're right. Yep,
July 30th.
Exactly right. I know that's get started in Troy then for sure. Ryer on YouTube. Go to YouTube and check out Ryer on YouTube for all of the stuff that Travis has mentioned, and we certainly do appreciate the time, Travis. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, buddy. Travis Ryer on YouTube, joins us here on Tuesdays. Really appreciate his time. Great content. Check Travis out at there. Like as I said, Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide. So many ways to check out what he has got going.
Okay, if we take a break right now and we go ahead and promise viewers and listeners another Daily Dog from the Phantom.
It's coming.
On the other side. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's coming. When we get back, and of course, Brian Matthews, bottom of this hour.
Coming up, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday. Barry mentioned the Phantom's Daily Dog last night or yesterday.
Yep.
We selected the Washington Nationals at home as an underdog at plus 115. And if you look at this box score, Barry, woo, man, this thing it was an exciting game to say the least.
It was not an easy afternoon for the Phantom. There was a little angst involved. Washington playing at home against the Cincinnati Reds. Now, in the top of the ninth inning, Cincinnati scored a couple.
Yeah, they did.
And got to within two. But they held them off. Washington wins. Washington wins. 10-8 is the final score. And, nobody said it was ever easy. I mean, Phantoms had a couple of easy ones. A 10-run lead for somebody 2 weeks ago. Can't remember. I think it was Detroit. Sometimes, John, it comes down to the final pitch before the Phantom can remember.
You're right. And this was one of those games that kept you engaged.
Yeah, 5-run inning here.
Yeah.
7 runs in 2 innings there for the Nationals.
Barry,
there
we're
was a
up
lot.
7-0 at the end of the third. 7-0. You're thinking, wow. Then the Reds put 5 on the board in the top of the 5th. You're going, whoa, what's going on here? We scratch across a run in the bottom of the 4th. Reds put up another one at the top of the 5th. 2 more in the bottom of the 6th for the
That
Natties.
was big, by the way. Those 2 in the bottom of the 6th.
Huge.
Thank
Couple
you.
of scoreless innings in the 7th and 8th. Then the Reds scratched 2 out in the top of the 9th. You're thinking, what's going on here?
Okay.
But we hold on to win the game 10-8, cashing that ticket yet again at plus 115. The Nationals get the win to start the week off.
Yes.
But as we say, that was then, this is now. So we're going to Tuesday. That is today, correct? I believe it is.
It is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Yes.
Barry, we're going for, there are 2 games that are starting at 8:40 tonight.
Ooh, late night at
8:40. Only 2. And we are going with the game in the desert as Arizona is hosting the Houston Astros, who I thought were in the National League, but I had to take another look.
Yeah. Well, this is beneficial to you because if you have the MLB.com app, that's the MLB.TV free game of the day. Houston,
how about that?
And Arizona, from Arizona. Very good left-hander going for the Astros, Framber Valdez. He's 10-4, 2.75 ERA. Eduardo Rodriguez.
Love that guy.
Going for
I'm
the
just taking a
Diamondbacks.
chance
He's
here,
just
Barry.
3-6 with an ERA near 6.
That's okay, but I'm taking a chance here, but I think he's a little closer to home than the Astros pitcher is, just based on his name. So I'm going with him today. I like him in this
Eduardo
position.
Rodriguez over Framber Valdez. Okay.
Yeah. I like Rodriguez. That's a baseball name anyway. It seems like there's a lot of players named Rodriguez in Major League Baseball. So I'm going with him. The D-backs are plus 110 at home. So just a slight underdog here, Barry. I'm going with them to win the game outright tonight against the Houston Astros. Matter of fact, if you're in that area, Barry, tickets are as low as $19 for this game. How about that?
Well, that is our Phantoms Daily Dog. Stick with us. Brian Matthews, other side of the break,
Yes,
auburnsports.com. That's called a tease in the business. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Did you know that Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air service fee is good for 30 days for all 4 trades? That's right. If we service your home's electric, plumbing, HVAC, or garage doors, we will come back within 30 days for any of the 4 trades at no additional cost to you. A licensed and trained Dixie technician will service your home with our signature warehouse on wheels, and all work will be backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. What are you waiting for?
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All right, back at it. It is about 27 minutes to the top of the hour. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us here today. Brian, thank you for rearranging your schedule today. Senator Tuberville wanted to join us earlier today, so he kind of bumped you out of your normal slot today.
Well, I mean, I might have to talk with Coach Tubbs about that. I don't appreciate that, but we'll see. I didn't know he still got up this early. What's going on?
Well, we did talk with him about reaction for SEC Media Days, which is kind of a softball question for him. When truth be told, we really, really wanted to ask you about reaction to SEC Media Days. Keldrick Fogg, Jackson Arnold, Connor Liu, Hugh Freeze. How'd you think the presentation was all in all?
I think everything went well. I mean, I'm past the point of thinking that much really happens at SEC media days anymore. You
Yeah.
know, it's more about the spectacle than it is about news breaking and interesting stories. There are some there, of course, and I thought Keldrick had an interesting story about Coach Freeze talked about it about him helping out one of his walk-on teammates, with his tuition. Was able to share some of his NIL money that he got through Auburn. So that was a really touching story there, and tells you a little bit about Keldrick's character and what type of leader and person he is, along with a great football player on the field.
I'm interested in finding out the backstory, whether there was a nefarious plan or something like that, because we had asked you before early in July, what's happening with Auburn recruiting. And it seems like it has really picked up. What, 4 4-stars in the last couple of 3 weeks, Brian? What's the story behind all that, and what's the impact on that class?
Well, I think even if Auburn is being real conservative in their approach, they've still got a football staff and Hugh Freeze that are very talented in recruiting. And they signed back-to-back top 10 classes for a reason, and they're still out there working their tails off despite some limitations that the administration is putting on them right now. And getting Jaquez Wilkes from Wadley, I think yesterday was big. This guy, does play at a smaller school, but he's a dominating type player. He's 6'4", 220, has a frame to put on a lot of extra weight. Probably going to be an edge, could play linebacker, but I think he's going to be a special player. And it's good to see Auburn recruiting continue to get some good players. Wilson Zaire, I thought, was a really nice addition as a left tackle. Going to have to get bigger and stronger, but has a really nice frame. And I really like how light on the feet he is. He moves well for a potential left tackle, in the couple of years, down the line once he gets over 300 pounds and builds up that strength.
Back to media days, Brian. And I'm with you. I mean, I don't think there's really any earth-shattering news coming out of there. One of our guests earlier today said more of that's coming out of Destin in May than what you hear in media days. But I just was curious your thought about Jackson Arnold. I mean, he was in Oklahoma last year. Brent Venables talked about how he wished he'd have stayed. I mean, he really loves that kid, but understands he had to make the move. Just the way he represented Auburn and the things he had to say.
I thought he did a great job. And, you can see why he's a starting quarterback in the SEC for now, a second team, right? I think he's got his, head on his shoulders, well. I think he's a thoughtful young man. And I think, I think the biggest thing was him after Oklahoma and everything that happened there to him and to the team. I think he just needs to get his confidence back. And it sure seems like he's done that at Auburn. I think when your team's not performing well, when you're getting blamed for it, Oklahoma gave up 50 sacks, which is still an amazing number to me. I can't believe they gave up that many sacks last season. When that happens, I just think it really wears on a young person who just wants to go out there and play ball and win football games for his teammates and his coaches and the fans that support him. So he's got a new start here at Auburn. Auburn invested in that offensive line. It should be able to protect him better than he was getting protected at Oklahoma last year. We'll see. But certainly guys like Xavier Chaplin and Mason Murphy should help out in that respect a lot more. That offensive line projection starters has over 150 Power 4 starts. So that's a really good sign, I think, that Auburn's going to be better offensively and give him, of course, the opportunity to make some throws to some very, very talented receivers.
I don't know if we asked you this back in the past. Somebody just texted from our viewership and wanted to know your thoughts. You mentioned Jaquez Wilkes. Your impression is that he can get stronger. He can put on weight. What are your thoughts about the ceiling for the quarterback commitment from a couple 3 weeks ago, Peyton Falzone from Pennsylvania?
I think his ceiling is an SEC starter. I do think he has some work to do. He's more of an athlete type right now. But when he's asked to throw, he's been very, very accurate, which is a great sign to me. So I think, I think he's a 4-star, but I still look at him as more of a guy that's going to take a little time to develop. But I think he'll be in a good position that fits his skill set. Hugh Freeze likes guys that can be athletic and move around a little bit. He likes guys that can make quick decisions and be accurate in the RPO offense. And I think Falzone could do those things. It could take him a couple years to get there, but I think he could be a potential starter at Auburn.
Brian, any news on Malcolm Simmons?
Nothing major yet. I think Auburn is still waiting to see how this thing plays out, in the court system or what have you, and gathering information before they make a decision. But I would not expect. I don't know what's going to happen. So if what we've heard is all accurate and nothing changes, I think he'll be facing some pretty major discipline. Let's put it that way.
Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. I ask you this question. I honestly don't know, because it seems as though every football program has it a different way. Like, I know what a general manager means down here where I am, and player personnel means where I am, but a general manager probably means something different at North Carolina under Belichick than it does somewhere else. There's been somebody who was really kind of geeked up talking to me about just this morning about the news that Auburn is hiring a director of player personnel from Arkansas named Jovan Hubbard. How does all that work? I know he tells me Freeze had some experience with this guy. Is that a big deal, do you think? I mean, how does that work? What's the impact there? Do you know?
I mean, it's becoming a bigger deal. I think if you look at the impact Will Redmond had when he came over, as Auburn's GM, and Auburn has struggled, I think, in the transfer portal and organizing some things there, and he definitely put his stamp on that in the program here in his first year. And I think Hubbard's going to come in and be the assistant GM, I believe, under Will Redmond. And I think he's a guy that's well respected. It's hard to keep up with all these personnel guys and recruiting and analysts that are at different SEC schools. And but he seems like he's a young guy that has a lot of attention, and a lot of people are excited about him. So I'm excited to get to know him and see his role at Auburn. But they're important roles now. You've got to have these guys behind the scenes that do all the grunt work, and that prepare a staff and a team like Auburn. As soon as that bell rings for the opening of the transfer portal, you've got to be ready to jump, both feet in. I think you Freeze described it as speed dating, and that's a really good description of what it is, right? You gotta get up and go. You gotta know who your targets are. You gotta know everything about them as people and as players, and you gotta jump in there and get them on campus and get them signed.
Brian, earlier this morning, we talked about Barry mentioned some opponents that Auburn has on their future football schedules. I can't say they're, household names, but I get the sense that maybe athletic directors around the country, particularly in the Southeastern Conference, are just waiting to see, are we going to play 8 or 9 games before they really start trying to schedule some marquee non-conference games?
Yeah, it's 3 months ago, I was 99% sure the SEC was going to 9 games. They were going to support the 4-2-2-2-1-1, whatever, with the 4 guaranteed spots for the Big Ten and the SEC, and we're going to have the play-in games 3 through 6, and all these changes were coming because I felt like the SEC and the Big Ten were in agreement on all these things, and then got to Destin. The SEC coaches started complaining about it, and then the SEC's position changed. And now it looks like, the SEC, at least publicly, supports the 5-11 plan for an expanded playoff. There may not be an expanded playoff in the next 2 years. We'll see. And it looks like right now they're sticking to 8 games. I think that's still under debate, but that does put the Auburn-Georgia rivalry at risk. I think if they stick to 8 games, schools like Auburn and Georgia and all these other schools that have these important number 2 rivalries will push to, make some adjustments to the 7-1 plan where you don't have to play every school home and away every 4 years, which is sort of the way Auburn's, the SEC sort of set up the 6-3 and the 7-1 plans with the 16-team conference. So I still think Auburn, Georgia will probably exist, next year. But still, it's just different. It's an adjustment to to think about, and you wonder where all this revenue that the SEC was already counting with the extra SEC game and the expanded play-in games and expanded playoff, where are you going to get that money, right? Because if you don't do all this stuff, you're not going to get that extra money from ESPN and all these other outlets.
Brian, my final question. Tell us a little bit about Deron Parks, the offensive lineman. Will there be a decision soon from him?
Yeah, he is a big old offensive lineman from Florida. I think Ohio State, Auburn, some other big schools are involved with him. Auburn is definitely in his top 2 or 3. Him, and then wide receiver Jason Matthews, who's a high 4-star, and safety Braylon Womack, who's a 5-star from Mississippi. I think all 3 of those guys are high-profile recruits that Auburn's in the final 2 or 3. They're going to have their decisions here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So those are guys to keep a close eye on. I'm not saying Auburn's getting all 3, but Auburn's in pretty good shape in all 3's recruitments right now.
Well, a lot of information available at the website, auburnsports.com, with the association now, the collaboration, Rivals on 3 Sports. Is auburnsports.com still the best way to get in touch with you guys and access all the information?
I think so. We got 6 of us. We are cranking out the content. It's crazy how much information we can put out there and how much coverage we can give recruits and football and basketball and all these other things happening at Auburn. Check us out, auburnsports.com. Follow me on socials, BMattAU. Give Uncle Keith's a try if you get a chance. Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's, BMatt15 if you want to order online, get you 15% off. You'll love it. Homegrown right here in the state of Alabama.
Had it on a chicken quesadilla recently, Brian. It was outstanding.
They need to bring it to SEC Media Days, I'm just saying.
No kidding.
Right. Yeah.
Good point.
Well, great content from
Yes,
Brian.
sir.
We may have to tell Tuberville he's going to have to lump it. We're going to have Brian on time no matter what.
Tell old coach to sleep in, he's getting up there. He needs that extra beauty sleep.
Yeah, I hear you.
Thanks very much, Brian. Appreciate you.
Y'all take care.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much. Brian Matthews joins us each and every Tuesday. Really appreciate his time with us here on the program. Barry, Brian brought up something that I thought about last week. Here again, I know I'm in the minority. People are going to think I'm crazy. If we go to 9 games and we're playing everybody home and away in a 4-year period, I love it. And if it means Alabama and Tennessee and Auburn and Georgia don't play every year, okay. I don't have a problem.
I thought you were a traditionalist. I thought you were a dyed-in-the-wool.
Change is good. A little change, a little variety. You're still going to play Tennessee and you're still going to play Georgia, but you got to play them every year. I don't have a problem with that.
Yesterday, my wife and I were watching this series, and we didn't want to start it. She was doing something, so I had about 20 minutes to watch something that I wanted to watch. And for some reason, I stumbled on the YouTube television broadcast, ESPN, from 1990 of Alabama versus Tennessee.
1990.
Sean McDonough with hair and Mike Gottfried. Neil Lomax was doing the sidelines.
Neil Lomax.
And it was in Knoxville, and the opening kickoff, Tennessee fumbled it, Alabama got it, and Philip Doyle missed a field goal and all of that.
Yeah.
And they kept and they mentioned this, and I didn't realize this was 1990, that they had played on the 3rd Saturday in October since like 1913 or something like that. And it's always been, every one of those years, what would it have been? 77 years, 3rd Saturday in October. I mean, Gary Hollingsworth was the Alabama quarterback. You want to get rid of that. I mean,
that's a good point.
Getting rid of that so you can play a home and away against Texas.
Yeah. And of course, Mississippi State would be on that as well. But you talk about tradition. There was a period they did not play that game on the 3rd Saturday in October. So they broke away from that. They got away from that big moniker of the 3rd Saturday in October. I know it's a big part of the game. But if we go to 9 games and you play a variety, you get a taste of everybody home and away within 4 years. I like that because Georgia has yet to go to Texas A&M.
Ever.
What's up with that?
Let's take a break. Coming up, the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel is coming up. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Now, through July 31st, take advantage of the quadruple zero event at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. 0% APR for up to 48 months. 0 down payment. 0 payments for 90 days and 0 cost for maintenance for 2 years or 24,000 miles. The quadruple zero event offer is available on select 24 and 25 model F-150s, Explorers, Expeditions, Broncos, Mustangs, and Escapes. Stop by Stivers Ford at 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery for more information. Stivers Ford, where Price sells cars and trucks.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 10 minutes until the top of the hour. Very quickly, before we get to Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, I mean, come on, Curtis. Brian was on at least a good 10, 12 minutes. You got to be kidding me. The Matthews Minute? What? Come on. You kidding me?
We have made that observation before, Curtis, about if you want to compare the amount of time spent on certain Alabama guests versus certain guests who may have a association with Auburn. I've fought that battle for a year. I've made that it's not been a battle, made the observation for years. John gets a little excited about some. Do you remember the game? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Did they have leather helmets back then? Oh man, I remember I was at that game. You know, Rodney, let me tell you a quick story, which, you know, anytime John says quick story, it ain't no quick story. So, I mean, it's a different tone.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Also, John Dent, where's the Hard Rock Hotel coming in the state of Alabama? I've not heard that. I would like to know.
There we go.
Curious.
We want the information.
Yeah.
Here we are. Right about time for the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, presented by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
Now, Barry, for our viewers and listeners that might not be aware, we have not seen these topics yet. So they're new to us just as they are new to you.
Crazy return.
Crazy return. Let's see what we got here.
Rich Hill, a left-handed major leaguer who has made his money as, you see his release point, a kind of a three-quarters delivery curveball. It has the best curveball in the major leagues back when he was pitching, which has been a while. He's 45.
Man.
And he has not been pitching in the majors for about 5 years. And he's pitched for just about everybody, the A's, the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Red Sox, and all that. 45. He's coming back. Look, they're not going to expect him to start and throw 100 pitches. He's just there to get a left-handed hitter out or two. But in this day and age where you can't just pitch to one guy out of the bullpen, I don't know. I hope it works.
You know, Barry, why can I not think of this guy's name? Played a long time, sweated a lot. And maybe one of his last games, he had a jersey on with every logo for every major league team he played on.
Was it David Wells?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking
anybody
at
who can speak Longshore ease. The words we have that we recognize are played long time, sweated a lot. Where was it? Manny Ramirez?
Journeyman, played for a lot of different teams. Well, I mean, if you say his name, it'll hit me. But I just maybe kind of in the Nolan Ryan era, kind of back then, maybe. I'm looking at him. I mean, he actually maybe played for the Braves for a minute too.
All right, real quick, Alabama getting its first Hard Rock Hotel. This is a great get by Florence. Theotis, can you confirm instead of the Days Inn, right next to Muscle Shoals? That's the reason why.
Okay,
Florence.
I
I
get
love
it.
Florence. It's a
All right.
beautiful town.
Muscle Shoals, I get the music connection. Usually Hard Rock hotels have casinos attached to them.
Yeah.
Did I miss something? Maybe that's not the case. All right, thank you for that. That's good info. Now I know. All right. Why can I not think of this guy? It's going to bug me all day.
Idea.
All right, let's spin the wheel and see what comes up next. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, and it's good.
Hey, whoa now.
Who said this? Bob Ballou.
Jordan Spieth.
Oh. He wasn't real happy with the open layout, I guess?
I don't know.
Huh. Did they bleep him out? I guess they did.
When's
the last time
Let's go back to the don't hear it. Evidently at the Open, did Jordan Spieth, when we're playing on the course at home, he just talks. He doesn't care to be a superstar. Scheffler, Open champion, unique ability to separate golf and he says that unique ability from the best I can tell to separate. But again, when I see him, I'm at the golf course. I see him here and there off the course, but when we're playing on the course, he talks. He's very witty. You can't really go at him because he's smart and he's got good bull.
You know, Barry, that's just kind of an element of golf that people don't talk about a lot. You got to talk trash. That's another way of saying what Jordan Spieth said. You subtly, not like you just really kind of laying it on thick and trying. You just ease something out there, and the guy goes, "What did he just say? What?"
That's not really something that you would like. God forbid, whenever Scotty Scheffler moves on to that big golf course in the sky, I'm not necessarily wanting Jordan Spieth to say that at my funeral. I don't want that to be my eulogy. He's a good dude. He talks. He's pretty creative. You don't want to come at him because he's got good.
I mean, you got a tight match. You walk into the 16th tee from the 15th green. You look over at your opponent and go, "Man, I can't believe that putt broke that much. Man, that was amazing." That's what he's talking about, because that's getting in the guy's head going, that SOB brought that up. He knows how to trick me. And he's saying something about it.
That's the other thing. We're talking about old school. I think athletes, I think people are getting too comfortable with using profanity in daily instance, just all the time. You watch Pat McAfee, and he says, we use profanity because that's the way real people talk. Well, not real people that I know, not all the time. So I don't know. I just feel like you never would hear Arnie say something like that post-Open to the writers. You never would hear Ben Hogan or Byron Nelson say, "Man, he's got some good," he talks all the time. Byron Nelson, Gene Sarazen, no.
I think that was, that was going on away from the camera. But there again, today we live in this social media age and everything's on, for people to see. But I think there was some trash talking. It just wasn't done in public.
Yes.
Back then. All right, what do we got? 3 more to go. Let's see if we can get them in. I believe we can. The Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel is spinning away. Where will it land? It's looking like green, and you can win plenty of green at Victoryland, open 24/7 in Shorter, Alabama. Bad dad.
What led to his? I've heard stories about Nico Iamaleava leaving and about his father's influence in all of that. His dad's name is Nick Iamaleava. He was making demands of Tennessee to improve the roster around him and all that. He said it was Nico's dad going to Josh Heupel back in December before they played Ohio State, like, "Hey, listen, you've got to get better at offensive line, better at receiver. We got to get better around him if you want us to stick around." That's the father telling the head coach what to do, how to coach his team.
Is that offensive line any better in UCLA? Not sure. Yeah, daddies and uncles getting involved. Okay, let's spin it again. 2 more to go. I think we can squeeze them in before the top of the hour. Green and blue are left. Let's see what comes up on the Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, where you can be a winner too. And it is going to be that. This is my wife. Let's check this. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Phillies. This is the Philly Fanatic and Mrs. Fanatic. Now, this is a play off the Coldplay concert where that CEO got busted with his chief human officer or something like that.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I'm not getting involved in that. I think it's funny. I think it's cautionary not to fool around on the woman you love and all that kind of stuff. But I did kind of halfway expect Gurn Jr. when he titled one of our episodes to have a Coldplay tune up there as one of our titles, unless I've missed like In Bloom. I don't know what that is. That would have been a good spot for that. But I mean, geez, that guy.
I believe Coldplay's in Nashville in the next day or two, maybe this weekend.
So hey, if you're a CEO,
be careful.
That may be the place to go.
Be careful.
Or to stay away from. Yes.
All right, one more to go. Let's spin it before we get out of here. And it is, we got to spin it to make it official. And it's going to be welcome home. Welcome home. What could this be about? Wait a minute. Chris Paul going back to the Pelicans? No, looks like he's going to the Clippers. Really? Did not know that. Didn't realize.
21 years.
Okay. Good for him.
21 years. He'll be the second oldest player in the league and the second longest in terms of.
I mean, I remember when he played in New Orleans, Barry. It didn't seem like it was that long ago. I didn't realize he was that old. Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's been around a while. Wake Forest way back when. Yeah, so that's good. Good.
Wake Forest. That's a good pull. All right. I want to thank all of our guests today. Senator Tommy Tuberville.
Yep.
Travis Ryer of Ryer on YouTube. Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. Tomorrow, CJ Duncan with Yellowhammer News will join us on the program. Also, Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician. What if he's done as good as the Phantom has in baseball lately? I'll have to ask him.
Anybody has, to be honest with you. Thanks to all of them. Thanks to Gurn Jr., our producer, John Longshore, Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud.